What if the most secure prison you'll ever know is one you're building yourself? Brick by brick, every single day. It's a prison with no visible walls, but you can feel it, in the choices you can't seem to make and the future that feels just out of reach. But what if I told you the keys to escape have been in your pocket this whole time? Stick around, because we're going to find them together. Ever feel stuck? Like you're living the same day on a loop. Same alarm, same commute, same thoughts. You go to bed with that quiet hum of dissatisfaction, promising yourself that tomorrow will be different. But it rarely is it? That feeling of being trapped isn't just in your head. It's a very real prison, built from the invisible stuff of your life, your habits, your beliefs, your tiny daily decisions. Every time you choose what's comfortable over what's courageous, you lay another brick. Every time you repeat a habit you know isn't helping you, you're just reinforcing the bars on your window. This isn't a prison of steel and stone, it's a prison of identity. It's sneaky. You don't even realize you're building it. One choice to scroll on your phone instead of reading that book seems harmless. One decision to stay quiet instead of speaking up feels insignificant. But those choices, compounded over thousands of days, become your automatic response. They become your character. And eventually, the walls get so high you forget there's a world outside them. You start to believe the prison is you. So, how does this even happen? How do we end up as the architects of our own confinement? It's all rooted in a basic human need, the need to know who we are. During our teen years, we go through a critical stage that the psychologist Erik Erikson called identity versus role confusion. It's that messy period of trying on different hats to figure out which one fits. Every choice we commit to adds a layer to our sense of self, creating a story that makes sense. A story that gives us a feeling of control. But here's the catch. To escape the discomfort of not knowing, sometimes we commit to an identity way too early. Psychologists call this identity foreclosure. It's like being handed a blueprint for your life, maybe by family, culture, or your early experiences, and just accepting it without ever exploring other designs. You become the practical one, or the shy one, or the one who plays it safe. You build a prison based on someone else's plan because it feels safer than facing the wide open field of who you could be. These choices don't just tell a story, they hardwire your self-concept. Your actions are constantly sending signals back to your brain, reinforcing who it thinks you are. If you repeatedly duck out of social events, your brain learns, I am an unsocial person. If you keep putting off that creative project, your brain concludes, I am not a creative person. Each action is a vote cast for the person you're becoming. The problem is, most of us are casting these votes unconsciously, building an identity we never actually chose. This whole process isn't just psychological, it's biological. Your brain isn't a fixed object, it's a living network that physically changes with your thoughts and actions. We call this neuroplasticity. Think of your brain as a dense forest. The first time you make a new choice, it's like hacking a path through the undergrowth with a machete. It's tough, sweaty work. But every time you repeat that choice, you walk that same path. You clear the leaves, wear down the dirt, and pretty soon, that path becomes a well-worn trail, and that trail becomes a superhighway. Neuroscientists know that when we form habits, our brain's CEO, the prefrontal cortex, makes the initial decision. But once the habit is ingrained, the prefrontal cortex clocks out and the basal ganglia, the brain's autopilot system, takes over. Your limiting habits, procrastination, negative self-talk, stress eating, aren't just bad ideas. They are deeply grooved neural highways in your brain. The bars of your prison are literally wired into your biology. And it gets deeper. Once you see yourself as a certain type of person, your brain rigs the game. It increases the value of any action that matches that identity. If you see yourself as a healthy person, the value of going to the gym suddenly feels much higher, making the choice easy. But if your identity is someone who can't stick to a routine, the value of staying on the couch feels way more appealing. Your identity makes it easier to keep being who you've been, and much harder to become someone new. This is how the prison walls repair themselves. Okay, I know that can sound a little heavy. You might be recognizing some of the walls and bars in your own life right now. But here's the good news: the architect is also the liberator. You hold the blueprints and all the tools for a total renovation. If you're getting something out of this, take a second to subscribe. We're all on this journey of tearing down and building up together, and I share new tools for the job every single week. So, where do we start? How do you dismantle a prison you can't even see? It's not about a dramatic, one-time prison break. It's a quiet, intentional renovation, one brick at a time. It comes down to 3 keys: awareness, interruption, and reconstruction. Key 1. Awareness, inspecting the walls you can't tear down what you don't see. The first key is honest, non-judgmental awareness. You have to become a detective in your own life, simply observing your patterns without beating yourself up over them. For the next week, try this. Carry a small notebook or use a notes app. Your only job is to spot the bricks and bars. When do you feel stuck? What automatic habit just took over? Bad habits are often just clumsy attempts to cope with uncomfortable feelings like stress, boredom, or loneliness. When you find yourself endlessly scrolling, ask, what am I trying to avoid feeling right now? When you put off that important task, ask, what fear is this procrastination protecting me from? And listen to the stories you tell yourself. I'm just not a morning person. I'm too old to start. I'm not disciplined enough. These aren't facts. They are bricks. Write them down. By simply naming them, you shift from being the prisoner to being the prison warden. You create a little bit of space, and in that space, you'll find your freedom. Key 2. Interruption. Creating a detour. Once you see the automatic patterns, the next key is to interrupt them. Your brain loves that neural highway. Your job is to create a tiny detour, a speed bump. A pattern interrupt doesn't have to be huge. The goal is just to break the chain of automatic behavior. If your habit is to grab your phone the second you wake up, put it across the room tonight. The simple act of getting out of bed creates a pause. And in that pause, you have a choice. If you stress eat at your desk, make a rule that you can only eat in the kitchen. That little bit of friction is enough to interrupt the mindless habit. Here's a powerful tool. Before you act on an old habit, ask yourself one question: does this action cast a vote for the person I want to become? This question wakes up your conscious brain and pulls you out of autopilot. It forces a moment of decision. You won't get it right every time, and that's not the point. The goal is to simply create a moment of choice where there used to be none. Key 3. Reconstruction, building your new self. This is the final, and most important, step. Lasting change isn't about changing what you do, it's about changing who you believe you are. First, decide who you want to be. Get specific. What does a creative person do each day? What does a patient parent think and feel? Write it down in the present tense. I am a writer who writes every day. I am a calm and present person. Next, you have to prove it to yourself with small, almost laughably small, wins. Your brain doesn't care about your grand ambitions, it cares about evidence. If you want to be a reader, the goal isn't to read 50 books this year. The goal is to read 1 page today. That tiny action sends a powerful signal to your brain. See? I'm a reader. Every time you do something that aligns with your desired identity, no matter how small, you are casting a vote for that new self. 1 page. 1 paragraph. 1 deep breath. These are the bricks you'll use to build your new home, a home of freedom, not confinement. Repetition is how you teach your brain that this new identity is safe, and eventually, make it the new automatic. The invisible prison you live in wasn't built overnight. It was assembled over years, with every unconscious choice and repeated habit. But here is the most profound truth: you are the architect. You laid every brick, which means you can remove every single one. The walls may seem high and the bars may feel strong, but they are made of nothing more than patterns. And you have the power to create new ones. Through awareness, you see the prison for what it is. Through interruption, you create cracks in the walls. And through reconstruction, you begin to build something new in its place, a life designed by you, for you. The future you want isn't out there somewhere waiting to be found. It's in here, waiting to be built, one conscious choice at a time. Starting today. You have the keys. They've been in your pocket all along. What's the first brick you're going to lay for your new foundation? Let me know in the comments below. And if this resonated, please like and share it. You never know who else needs to hear that they hold the keys to their own freedom.